Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about One Piece, episode 1106. But before we get into the actual episode review, I just want to take a little bit of time just to talk to you guys about One Piece itself. Just because this is my first video review for the series, and I'm kind of starting later on in the series, I just want to quickly catch you guys up about One Piece and everything it means to me and everything that I've gone through with this series so far. And I'm not going to be touching on every single point. It's just going to be a quick little review of the series as a whole in itself, just for myself, just so you guys understand where I'm coming from, what characters I have a tendency to lean towards, what characters I have a tendency to not lean towards and kind of dislike. But it's just an overall general review of the series before we get into the actual episode review. I started watching One Piece about 4 years ago. And when I first started in, I was actually a little bit put off at the beginning at the character of Luffy, just because I'm not a big fan of the stupid character as the lead character. That's kind of why I've kind of fallen off with Dragon Ball over the years, just because they pretty much turned Dragon Ball Super Goku into Dragon Ball Z abridged Goku. He's not very intelligent in anything. Goku's always been a little bit dim, but he was always very, very battle savvy. And that's kind of what they made Luffy into as the series has progressed. But he was a little bit more dim-witted than I would have preferred. But thankfully there were characters like Zoro and Nami there that really kept it grounded. I immediately hooked onto Nami just because she seems like such an interesting character. And Zoro was one of those characters that was just so badass. You just can't deny the fact that he's one of the best characters that you're going to get in any type of action formation. He's very, very well done. And Nami is one of the most compelling characters at the beginning of the series, up until they start introducing other characters like Nico Robin. Nico Robin's another character that, my god, she is hands down my favorite Straw Hat. She is the best character, I think, on the entire ship. She's the most knowledgeable. She's one of the most quick-witted, because I like that dry humor of, oh, we'll probably be impaled or burned alive or something, and Usopp screaming at her, why are you so happy about this? Can you at least seem a little bit scared? They have even though I'm not the biggest fan of Usopp, he is growing on me as the series continues. But he, even though I'm not really the biggest fan of him, his interactions with Nico Robin are some of the best interactions in the show. So I even the characters that I'm not a big fan of, like Usopp, and I'm not a very big Sanji fan, but Sanji, he has some of the greatest moments in the entire show. The showdown he has with Queen is undeniable. The meeting he has with his father, where he won't even really fight him. He's just, it's a great series. Like, it's very compelling. Every single character has a meaning and a reason to be there. They contribute. Everyone down from the simple musician of Brook, who, even though he is a little bit of a creep, he has a little bit of Sanji vibes, but it's not overbearing like Sanji. That's why I feel like I'm a big connection to Brook. And as soon as he got introduced in Thriller Bark, I was immediately hooked on the character. He's one of those characters that you have to really enjoy the character, otherwise you hate him completely. He's very funny, he's very dry-witted at certain points with his, yes. It's very good, it's very funny. And honestly, like, I have really grown. I did a lot of binging, so because I need to binge and I wanted to make sure I caught up as quick as possible, I started watching in the dub. And I am a big sub fan. I really do enjoy the subs, but when I don't really have the full attention span I need to have, the dub is the amazing thing to have there. It's one of the best things that you can have, because the story is so good. And even though I will admit the passion isn't as there as in a lot of characters, you'd grow to very fond of a lot of characters. Like myself, with Brook, I grew so attached to the voice actor of the English version of Brook that when I started listening to the actual Japanese version, he's very, very good, but it just doesn't hit the same. It's the same way with Frankie. The character of Frankie, I feel the English voice just suits the character a lot more than the Japanese version. Even I'm taking absolutely nothing away from the Japanese voice actor. He is one of the best in the entire show. Even when he does the super, he's really good. Every single voice actor on the show is phenomenal, whether it's the Japanese or English version. I literally love both versions, because I started binging one, but over the past couple years, I've been caught up and I've been watching with the Japanese version, and I've grown to love those voice actors as well. That's why I'm not a big fan of the the elitist, you have to watch and sub, or the simplistic, why would you care about what a Japanese voice actor is? You don't even speak Japanese. How do you know if it's good? I mean, you can tell it's good by the passion that they put forward into their work. Any artist can see that when you have passion for what you do, it bleeds through in your performance. So when you have voice actors, like the voice actor for Luffy, she is amazing. The way she yells and the way she produces her voice is one of the absolute best that I have ever heard in any dub of any show ever. And she is one of the most passionate voice actors, all the way up with Goku's voice actor. She lives and breathes that character. She loves that character, and you can tell she has so much fun with every single line that she delivers. I can never praise the voice actors of either English or Japanese dubs. I can never praise them enough. They're always on point. They're always in the best shape ever. The show also has some of the absolute best side characters that you could ever have. And I'm not talking about any of the Straw Hats. They have characters like Trafalgar Law, who is, aside from Straw Hats, my favorite character in the entire series. He's very complex with his emotions and everything from his backstory to like his sickness to him leading the Heart Pirates. I understand that he is he's like that meme you see of like the crew at 100%. And then crew at 99%, and then it's just like the Heart crew, and then just Trafalgar Law. Like, I understand that that's the dynamic of them, but he's such a compelling character that cares about his crew to no end, that he would never abandon his crew, even though that they are so much weaker than him, and you can never give him enough praise for that. He's a phenomenal character. Everything he went through with Doflamingo, everything he went through with his entire past, it's an amazing series, and all the side characters, all the way from Trafalgar Law, all the way up to Momonosuke, all the way to back to Laboon. And the hands that speaking of Laboon, I cannot praise Oda enough for bringing a simple whale that they met when they crossed the Grand Line and brought that into a character from a member of their crew that sailed with that whale, and their crew is the reason why that whale is in the Grand Line. And it's so far apart too. Like, that's hundreds of episodes apart. The time it takes and with the effort it takes to do something like that. That's why I never praise anyone as above, like how he was as Goda and stuff like that. It's just like, he's very, very good. He's amazing. I don't agree with like calling someone God Oda. It's like that's ridiculous. Like, I understand it's like a pun on God, Usopp, that type of stuff, but still, it's just overpraising a man. But he is genuinely deserving of so much praise. His ability to interweave storylines and do everything that makes everything happen while making everything else around it feel like a whole world. Because while the Straw Hats are doing their thing, you check in with other pirates and other characters throughout the entire series, and you end up meeting Morgans and doing all the newspaper stuff, or you spend some time with Trafalgar Law, and last time we saw him, he was fighting off against Blackbeard. So like, everything in this world feels lived in because there's so much time to tell everything. You don't need to squeeze everything into an 8-episode, 22-episode season. You just have as many episodes as the story tells. You can have anything from a short series like the one that we had in Sabaody all the way up to freaking Wano. And we know how long Wano is, and if you haven't been all the way through Wano yet, seriously, best of luck to you, man. It's one of the best stories you'll ever watch, but the time it takes to get through is unbelievable. You enjoy almost every second of it. There are certain points where you're just like, can we just move along a little bit? I understand that you guys are trying to like spread the story just to make sure but can we please just move it along? And we get to it eventually, and honestly, it's one of the best arcs. But Egghead, moving on to Egghead, we are 20 episodes in already, and this show is freaking crazy when it comes to everything happening on this island. We have the freaking Pacifists showing up, we have some Tamaru showing up, we have all the freaking Straw Hats fighting the CP0, and all this stuff has happened so far, which is just the 20 episodes. If this was a regular show on a regular network this show, we'd be near the end of the season, we'd be pushing stuff. So we'd have had so much stuff taken out for character development with Bonnie, learning with Kuma, everything that's happened with Dr. Vegapunk and Dragon, everything that's happened. Like, there's so much that can be told within a story when you don't limit yourself to a specific amount of time. And that is one of the absolute best things I love about anime, and especially about One Piece. You don't really set yourself to a very specific season. One season can go for years. Like with Wano was like, I think like 160 something episodes. So that technically, like, even though like it's an arc, but if you look at it, it's like that's just a bunch of seasons interwoven into one giant season of an arc. And it's just such an amazing ability to tell stories in that manner. And when you don't have to worry about having all of these other people telling you need to wrap this season up and you need to move on to this stuff, just let the story breathe and play out, and you end up falling for these characters. You can't praise a show that gives the characters a chance to actually be the characters they're supposed to be. Who's Zoro? If you ask anybody who watches One Piece, who's Zoro? Zoro is an absolute badass that you would never count out in a fight. He stays calm, he stays collected, and he gets lost. Every single time. Takes 2 steps to the left, he's gone and got lost 3 miles that way. Somehow, if he takes 2 steps to the right, all of a sudden he's on a different island. It's like, how the hell are we... Like, Zoro is... Like, you can define all the characters specifically through the time that we've gotten to spend with them. Like, who's Nami? Nami's a character that she loves money. She will do absolutely anything to make sure that she gets every single berry that she can. But when it comes to her crew, the love for her crew comes above all else in money. Yeah, she'll force her crew to pay ridiculous fees and stuff like that. But if she were forced to choose between a big gold brick and protecting Chopper, she would protect Chopper while trying to also somehow figure out a way to get that gold brick. She's trying to, like, you can sum a lot of characters up in very quick but very precise manners, right? And you can't take that away from specific characters. I enjoy One Piece to the point where this show is the final straw that forced me to want to make this channel. I want to talk about One Piece, and I want to have full communications about everything to do with One Piece. I do want to spread out to other things. I do have videos on other things, but specifically anime and specifically One Piece. I love this show, and I love the way all the stories blend together, and I love the way that all the characters interweave. So having this type of show, I needed to talk to somebody about it. I needed to have conversations about this show, because a lot of the times people in your community, a lot of your friends, don't really watch anime. Anime has gotten a lot more popular over the years, but still to this day, I know maybe 3 people that enjoy anime. Everybody else just looks at it as that Japanese cartoon thing, as a lot of people did back in the day. Even though the internet has made a lot of people come together and made the anime community even bigger and even better. So I just wanted to be able to come out and talk to everyone and actually share my feelings, let you guys share your feelings, and talk about the show specifically together. I want to be able to talk to you guys and enjoy this show in a manner where a lot of people don't have the opportunity. So as long as you guys are willing to stick with me, I want to talk about this show, and I want to talk about everything to do with anime or sci-fi stuff or anything of that manner. So I really want to use this as a platform to grow the One Piece crew. This is Patrick Tobin Productions, but I want to look at us as the Patrick Tobin Pirates. And together, we will fly that pirate flag, and we will talk everything to do about One Piece, Oda, Shanks, everybody that comes up in this entire show, and every plot that I can possibly think of, theories, everything to do with it. So come with me, let's enjoy the show, let's enjoy this entire world of One Piece together. And together, let's find the One Piece, because we all know the One Piece is real! But let's get into the actual episode review, guys, because even though there wasn't a lot that happened in the episode, there were some really big, really important things that happened, and I cannot wait to talk about them. The first is when the episode opened and we actually kick off with Bonnie and Vegapunk when they're in the laboratory where you see the big glowing paw, and we actually get to learn that that's the memories. So when we dive into the memories, I don't think I'm ready for the story yet, man. Like, this is a show that made me cry over a sailing ship and a whale. So I'm not sure if I can handle the backstory of a troubled father that has to try and supply his entire life for his child. And I don't know if I can handle this, but let's find out together about this one. Kuma has always been a really interesting character to me ever since he first showed up back in Thriller Bark. I've actually been a really big fan of Thriller Bark because that's where Brooke was introduced. So he's always been one of my favorite Straw Hats, and I'll always take any opportunity to enjoy a chance with stuff to do with Brooke. And the cherry on the cake was when we got to see Sanji and Zoro fighting, even though they weren't Sanji and Zoro. Like, those two cannot get along under any circumstances, whether they're themselves or not. They just can't help but fight each other, and that's just... I love that series. That entire arc is awesome. It's a little slow at points, but it sets up a lot of stuff that happens now, like the stuff with Kuma and Brooke being a member of the Pirates, with having some of the best moments you could have, like with Big Mom calling her young lady. It's really good. I really enjoy Thriller Bark. Then him coming back in Sabaody and him being the one to separate the crew, finding out that he did it for a very specific reason, to help protect them, let them grow, try and help them better themselves. So, and he even hung out and watched the ship specifically just so that when they got back, they would have their sailing ship still. So like, he was such a cool character. And now that we're going to get his backstory, and I do understand a little bit about his backstory. I don't know specific details, but I do know that it's a very tragic backstory, and he's been like tortured mentally since he was a child. So I'm really looking forward to being able to get into the actual visual storytelling of his backstory and of everything that he's had to go through. That, I feel like, is going to really hit an emotional chord with me, that this show is just gearing up to twist that knife in, right? Just twist it while they're stabbing. And not even give you the opportunity of a stab then twist. They're just going to do the full motion at once. Then we get to the revelation that Vivi's actually still alive, even though they said that she was assassinated, and she's actually being protected with Morgans. When we first came up and she's talking to Morgans, I was like, did he just kidnap her? Like, what could he want? Is he doing ransom? But no, then you just find out that he's actually that she's actually there with Wample, and he's protecting them. We don't know why. We don't know what they want, but we know it has something to do with Emu. And if Morgans has enough ability to block information from Emu, then what is Morgans? I understand that he's a propaganda machine that runs a newspaper and stuff like that, but if he can prevent information from getting to Emu, what exactly is his reach? How much reach does he truly have? So these are some real questions that I really look forward to understanding later on as the series continues. So having this revelation is it's honestly really interesting, because this means we're probably going to get Vivi back with the Straw Hats. And I understand Oda is one of those people that he didn't want Vivi to be with the Straw Hats, but after this many years, bringing her back, I'm really, really hoping that this means that we're going to get Vivi as a member of the Straw Hats. She was such I didn't even like Alabasta very much, because like, we get to see Crocodile becoming one of the best villains. We get introduced to Nico Robin and all the story with but it's just, I don't know, it just kind of seemed to drag out, and like Vivi just seemed like she's a good character, but at the same time, like, she seemed obnoxious to me, even though she wasn't. Like, watching it back when I rewatched the arc, because I wanted to go back and rewatch it in Japanese. I think it has something to do with the English dub. When they portray her, I think she comes across as a little bit more whiny, as opposed to the actual original Japanese dub, where she comes across as a more impactful and like prideful woman, as opposed to kind of like whining about her country all the time. In the Japanese version, she seems to want to have more inspirational quotes and stuff like that for trying to actually help her country, as opposed to just crying about it. So that may just be my take. That may just be the fact that Japanese to English didn't quite translate as well as it should have. But then again, this is why I enjoy both the subs and the dubs. Although I do think a lot of the resentment that I had towards Vivi's character at the beginning was due to the fact that when she was introduced, Nami got really sick. And around that time, I was trying to prevent looking at any posters or spoilers or anything of that nature. So I didn't want to know if members of the Straw Hats came or go, or any new members came up, because I didn't want to see them on a poster and then automatically like, oh, I saw them on a poster. That means they're probably going to join the Straw Hats at some point. I didn't want to go through that type of stuff, so I avoided all that as much as possible. So when Vivi came up and Nami got really, really sick, I was afraid they were going to kill Nami off and bring Vivi in, because I had spent so much time enjoying the character of Nami, and everything from Arlong all the way to her being able to finally trust the Straw Hats, asking Luffy for help. It's just, I didn't want to say goodbye to that character, and I think I immediately shut myself off to Vivi by not enjoying her character as much as I possibly should have. So when I went back and rewatched the arc when it was in Japanese, I actually ended up not having as much of a problem with it, because I knew Nami was going to be okay. I knew Nami was going to survive. So having that in the actual show made it a lot easier to digest. So I think a lot of the original hate that I had for Vivi was due to an own personal bias that I was having. And now that I've actually gone back and I've rewatched and I've actually had a chance to give the character the proper chance that she deserves, I've really come to grow to like Vivi. I'm like a lot of you, like Vivi should be a member of the Straw Hats. Right now she's an honorary Straw Hat. She should be a member of the Straw Hats, full-fledged. She's at the point where I think Alabasta, she's probably going to go back and be the leader of Alabasta, because I believe that they said her father has been killed. But I don't know. I just think that she should be a Straw Hat. She fit with the crew very well. She had a good dynamic with everybody. And if her, and it would be really awkward watching her and Nico Robin try and like get past that little tension at the beginning, right? It would be a really fun way to go about it. There's also some little stuff in the episode about Sentamaru. He's still alive, even though twice, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Sentamaru is one of those things about One Piece where it's kind of frustrating, where like, come on, just kill him. Like, I understand that Oda doesn't really want to kill characters very often, but just kill him. You tease us with a death once, you tease us with a death twice. I swear to God, if you do it a third time, that man better be dead, or I'm going to drive to Oda's house and I'm going to kill him on the paper myself. You also get to see that there's about 50 Pacivistas, Mach 3s that are showing up, and they got this crazy bubble shield thing that Vegapunk created, and they're like overpowered as all hell, and they're fighting back against the Navy trying to help prevent Dr. Vegapunk's death, but they still can't find Vegapunk, because I'm assuming it's because he was turned into a child. So like they're looking for a grown adult Vegapunk, so they're probably not finding him because the fact that he's a toddler, it's registering. Does it make a lot of sense? No, but a lot of times some of the stuff that happens in this show doesn't necessarily make sense when you think about it logically. So that's what I think is happening. It's just one of those things that, well, we can't find him. He's a child, so now we can't find him. So now we can help progress the plot along, because if we found him due to all the security cameras that we said we have set up, then they'd be able to find no problem, and then they'd be getting into Bonnie, and Bonnie wouldn't be able to access the memories. It's just one of those things where you kind of just got to let it roll, because you can't, not everything's going to make 100% sense every single time, because the way the story rolls out. And it's honestly, One Piece is one of those shows that it does everything so well with interweaving the stories that whenever a small hiccup like this comes up, you just kind of just roll with it. It does kind of glare out a little bit, but you're like, not everything is perfect. Literally no show can be perfect. And this was why I say that no man deserves like God level praise, but he deserves the praise that is definitely due to him on the amazing show that he has produced. But anyway, guys, that's the review. Thank you guys for tuning into the video, and please, if you did enjoy this video, leave a thumbs up on the video, leave a comment down below, and subscribe and hit that bell notification so you guys can know when I drop more videos. I'm trying to get a video out every single week for One Piece, and I'm going to do videos every other week for other animes like My Hero Academia. And I've also been catching up on Attack on Titan. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a review on that. I may just do arc reviews, like season reviews of that show, just so that way we're not doing like week to week updates on that stuff. Since everyone already has watched that show and I'm a little bit late to the party, I'm just gonna do some bundled together episodes for that one, just so that way we can kind of go over it together. But I do want to start growing this community more, and I do want to start having more videos with you guys, and I do want to start talking more about One Piece and other stuff of this genre. So if you did enjoy the video, again, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment, hit the subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you guys know when I get more videos. And until then, I really look forward to growing this community, and I cannot wait to see you guys again for the next episode of One Piece. Until then, love you guys.